You know, there isn't much you can do about injuries and illnesses. So getting frustrated about injuries and illnesses is, generally speaking, a waste of time and energy. So you'll never guess what it is that I'm going to do today. Good morning to you. Good Thursday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports, and this is Daily Shot of Penguins. It comes your way bright and early every weekday if you're into football and or baseball. I also offer up daily shots of Steelers and Pirates where you found this. The Penguins will face the Flyers tonight at 7:08 p.m. inside PPG Paints Arena, barring an asteroid ending all life on Earth. And that's really how this is starting to feel. As much as you want to watch the Penguins and think to yourself, I'm ready to put everything I have into supporting this team, into believing in them, into finding relevance in what it is that I'm watching. In other words, when the team does something well, does it mean something good? When the team stinks, is it just because they're missing a third of their roster, or is it because, who knows? It all feels like an interlude, like everyone's just waiting for the real season to start. So now you have Sidney Crosby come back, and it's hey, the captain's back, and Ryan Mill does the extra little oomph to the introduction before the first face-off. Welcome back, your captain. And the place is all revved up and everything. No, they lose to the Devils, but the idea was it started to feel like it was something again. And then Sid comes down with COVID, and Brian Dumoulin comes down with COVID. Both of these new to the list yesterday. And when I say a third of the roster, I'm not really even joking. That's what's now been either assigned to having COVID or put into the protocol in some form or other. You can even throw into the pack Tristan Jarry, even though his was a false positive. Everyone for a day thought that he had it too. And adding that onto concussions and surgeries and everything else, we have no idea what this team is right now. And we can't even go back over the glowing positives like the Florida trip that opened the season, or some of the negatives, in particular the stinker the other night against New Jersey, and assign any kind of meaning to them. What are you saying? If you end the game by thinking to yourself that Evan Rodriguez was your best player, and you know for a fact that when game one of the playoffs rolls around in a few months, that Rodriguez might well be a healthy scratch, there's just not a lot of there. You know? It is frustrating. It's exasperating. I feel everyone on this front. I can tell you that from the reporting / writing / commentating standpoint, I'm there too. I'm covering this game tonight. The Flyers win this game by, 5-0. I got nothing for you other than that Crosby, Dumoulin, Malkin, Rust, maybe Letang, maybe not Letang. He says he might come back. Carter's just back from a long layoff. We have no idea if Jake's got some lingering this or that because he still can't score. Who knows? And it's that. Now, double this feeling when it comes to looking at the standings. Because the Hurricanes aren't just going to sit around and wait for the Penguins to get everybody back or half of everybody back. they're just going to keep on winning every single game they play. And these other teams in the Metro that are picking up their own steam, that are developing their own identities, are going to continue doing that. As Mike Tomlin of the Steelers loves to say, other teams know we have problems, and they're glad we do. I mean, it's not a league that's going to lend itself toward people giving you sympathy. So what's the solution? Look at the Florida tapes. That's all I've got going into tonight. Tell all of your guys who are here, you have an opportunity in the National Hockey League. You have an opportunity that you've worked very hard for, that maybe you as an individual have been frustrated, exasperated, to use those words again, over not having that chance. Whether that's a Rodriguez or even a younger guy like Drew O'Connor, or I don't want to call him a journeyman, but somebody who hasn't really hit yet, like a Danton Heinen. What about Juuso Riikola? All he's ever done since he's been in Pittsburgh is sit in the press box with me. Now he gets to, be on the ice and be a central figure. So go make something of it. Play like you did in those 2 games in Florida. Play like that. Get some points. Keep getting points. Eventually, with points, you could theoretically have this great big rush of, hey, wow, look at us. We're actually in a pretty decent spot here. Now we have all our guys back. Now let's go. Let's get after it. In the interim, yep, that's what this is. This is the great big injury/illness interlude. When we come back, just one question. Welcome back. It's time for Just One Question, and that's always brought to you on this program by the good people at the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank, where they're committed to providing food for all of our neighbors in need across Western Pennsylvania, and they in turn need your help. Visit pittsburghfoodbank.org to find out how $1 from you can create 5 full meals for those in need. pittsburghfoodbank.org. Our J1Q comes from Sammy, who asks, why didn't the Penguins trade Jake and Rust at the very least this past offseason? What are their plans? They're taking an older and lesser team into this season with the same coach and are now expecting a better outcome than a first-round loss? Just move on. Get on with it. I give them a 25% chance of making the playoffs. Maybe. All right, Sammy. I don't even know where to start with this. But I'm gonna go out on a limb here and suggest that maybe you go back and watch that first round playoff loss that they had to the Islanders and identify for me, make a list that runs 10 deep. Let's go 10. 10 deep of things that went wrong in that series. And you can only count Tristan Jarry's goaltending as one of them. Okay? Yeah. Right. You can't. You can't. No one can. My list, my own list, would run 2 deep. Number 1, with a bullet, would be Tristan Jarry's goaltending. And number 2 would be the inexplicable flatline performance that the team gave in Game 4 collectively on Long Island. That one is the one where you just... Every team has one, in a playoff round, But that was a real lousy timing for it, considering the huge high off of the overtime win that Brandon Tanev got them in Game 3. You can't just not come back from that and perform at the same peak level. But that's it. That's it. If you want to assign major franchise shifting moves to a playoff loss, you'd better have more than one thing to look at from that round and finger as the point of blame. That was a really good hockey team that was playing really well. And you know what else they were, Sammy? They were healthy for the first time in like forever last season. And it's part of the thought process that I was referencing in the opening segment here today and talking about how this team needs to just kind of buy time for everybody to get back. Because that is what happened last season. And they went into that playoff really close to full health. They didn't have Casey DeSmith, which obviously ended up being a big factor. And we would find out later that Evgeny Malkin needed to have his knee surgically repaired. He played through it. And Jake Gensel wasn't 100%. But other than that, that's actually pretty good for going into a playoff. That's what's needed now. Moving Gensel, moving Rust, moving people to move them. Especially when it's related to emotion, which very clearly it is on your case. No, man, just no. That's a great way to destroy good things. I appreciate the question, though. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Penguins. Do this again tomorrow.